I was wondering if, you guys think of yourselves as a family, and, if you needed any more family members. Maybe a dad?
I'm not really sure what it is that you're asking. We're just bred. Now, come along now, children. Let's go home for Daddy's birthday.
Fine.
Lovely. What? No, please, no!
You know what? I'm actually glad I don't have a family.
Hey everyone. After waiting 5 long years, we are finally witnessing the incredible return of Sesame Street if it was nightmare fuel. And let me be the first to tell you, this was well worth the wait. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared was originally a web series published on YouTube starting in 2011. Episodes would start out with bright, familiar colors and themes of kids' shows and then twist into psychedelic, disturbing, and sometimes incredibly violent territory. Even though the show wasn't really intended for children, a lot of the original audience has grown up with the series. Thanks to the creators' incredible attention to detail, the fan base has become one of the most intense on the internet, and the series is one of the most overanalyzed things on YouTube, which is something I'll come back to. I first saw DHMIS when I was around 14 years old, and I found it difficult to watch, but also strangely addicting. I would follow these odd characters as they supposedly learned about different themes, ranging from love,
He's made for her.
And she's made for him.
That's the way it's always been. And it's perfect.
And it's pure.
And it's protected with a ring.
to dreams, to time, but hidden behind everything was the gut-wrenching sense that the world they inhabited was not ever even real, and the characters trying to help them had bad intentions. The morals learned by the characters in each episode were nonsensical and often even directly contradicting themselves. But ultimately, the real lesson is one the audience learns about thinking for yourself. At least that's my very general take on this series. Now, an official full season of DHMIS is available on Channel 4. Definitely watch it there if you can. If we want another season, we need to support the artists, so try to avoid pirated versions if possible. There are 6 episodes. They're each over 20 minutes long, which is a huge step up from the original series, where episodes generally ranged from 3 to 8 minutes. This video you're watching right now is not really intended to be a review. It's more just a knee-jerk reaction from a fan of the series. There will probably be some spoilers here, so just be aware of that. And if you haven't seen the new episodes yet, you should probably watch those first and come back. But if not, like, I'm not going to say anything crazy. I don't know. You should probably watch the show first. Moving on. With episodes far longer than the YouTube audience might have tolerated, the show has started changing the format and even the general tone of the series. Where originally it was mostly a surreal horror experience, it now feels more like a surreal comedy with dark undertones. There were moments that actually made me laugh, where the creators set up a traditional horror stereotype, then turned it completely on its head, and it ended up feeling like an Adult Swim skit. An example of this is the 3rd episode, Family, where these creepy siblings show up and try to indoctrinate the yellow dude into their family. The episode features nods to the Chainsaw Massacre films and sets up a moment where I thought the family were going to try and eat our stupid little friend here. But then they reveal that they want him to be their new mom and order fast food for them. It's so out of left field and such an absurd situation that I started laughing while watching it. Like, I'm not kidding at all. I was watching this by myself and it actually elicited laughter. You know how seldom that is? It was beautiful. But don't let my assessment here make you think the new season skimps out on being scary or on violence, because nothing could be further from the truth. The most disturbing part of the original series, at least for me, was the episode about health. The new season has multiple moments that far outperform that episode in terms of terror. For example, about 2 seconds after the weird family gets the man in yellow to become their de facto matriarch, this guy shows up and actually eats the weird family. I'm not kidding. Immediately after flipping these horror movie tropes on their heads, the show decides to just do the trope, except the villains are actually the victims. It's a lot. It's really cool, though, and yeah, very surprising. Or look at this lovely creature. They mention it multiple times. This is the Care Hound, which is introduced in an episode about jobs. It's supposed to provide workplace therapy. Doesn't it look helpful? This is what it actually looks like. I hate puppets. I hate puppets. I hate puppets. I hate puppets. The original trio of characters has been given a lot of room to grow into more recognizable people, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Yeah, people. All three seem to be integral to the plot now, where in the YouTube series it seemed like Mophead was the protagonist half the time, the other half it was Lemonhead. These were simpler times. I actually love how much Walking Carpet has changed. He was originally just deadpan, and now he is exactly the same, except he yells sometimes.
We live in an actual nightmare!
Howard the Duck is somehow even more insufferable without the auto-tune on every word he says, but he manages to remain strangely endearing despite his oblivious arrogance throughout the entire show. While as of now it doesn't seem like there's much supposed hidden material to decode, something I'll get back to, there is an increased sense of focus and purpose throughout the show. This is often achieved through very effective foreshadowing that rewards multiple viewings of the series. To draw yet another example from episode 3, which I didn't originally intend to focus on, but whatever, I want to point your attention to where the siblings get mad at Quack for touching the piece only their mother is supposed to touch. But the King in Yellow just touched the same piece without any repercussions. And that's a clue to the later situation where the family tries to integrate him in as the mom. Again, heavy spoilers right here, but the series ends with a strange meta episode that tears down the veil, breaks the fourth wall, and gives viewers a bit of insight into the sadistic nature of the show as a show. The choleric yellow humor is gifted with the power of hyperintelligence and starts to question the world around him. It's a brilliantly written bit of commentary that promises more, as a character is gifted a book that will supposedly give them all the answers to any question anyone could have about the world that the show is taking place in. But in a twist ending that is honestly difficult to watch, the newfound intelligence is wrested from the man in the yellow hat, and he forgets everything, even his own purpose. He then takes the book of lore and gleefully uses it to test out a shredder. And this brings me to an opinion, or a take, I've been wanting to articulate for a long time about this series as a whole. The show is surreal, absurdist, dark humor in the form of parody, and that's what it has been from the beginning. The fan base and a lot of essayists and YouTubers have tried for years to find all the hidden messages and darker undertones, and there's nothing wrong with this, but I've seen fans berate newer fans for just enjoying the show without getting into all the conspiracy stuff, and that kind of bothers me. And I'm definitely not talking about myself right now. This new series actually ended up disproving the speculation of many, and the ending almost feels like a message on its own to just enjoy the art. Not everything needs to be as involved as an ARG. And that's honestly pretty hard for me to say, because I actually love analyzing stuff and finding hidden meaning in stuff, even if hidden meaning isn't always there. And when a fandom works together to decode stuff, it can be the coolest thing in the world. I simply wish to propose the idea that not everyone needs to look that deep, and that's okay. Anyways, my personal favorite episode of the series is, interestingly enough, the very first one. The whole thing is amazing, but the themes and the weirdness of the first episode, plus the waves of nostalgia that hit fairly quickly, it's unparalleled. And my point in bringing this up is, if you were debating checking the show out, just watch the first episode, you know? Like, they make a lot of interesting points about the circular nature of our current work environment and hustle culture, and the way that the workforce kind of tricks you into brand loyalty. It's very interesting. It also grapples with mental health and therapy.
Try to imagine all your thoughts are squeezed inside a cube. And the cube is in a garden, but the garden isn't real. And the cube is made of nothing. Now let's imagine we're in a library, and there's loads and loads of books, and they represent the cube.
It's very interesting. You should totally check it out. I may think this series is an open book, but I don't know which page to turn to. Do I? I was listening to the new Alex G and Cakewalk scripting. Anyways, I'd love to dissect the episodes further individually if anyone would watch that. So if you're a fan of the show, I'll just be Mr. Beast for a second. If you like weird media and mildly educational entertainment, consider subscribing. I'll be giving $30,000 to everyone who subscribes and likes the video, so YouTube will hopefully give my channel a break in the algorithm. Be sure to leave a comment so I know you did it. The only way to receive your money is to submit your information to me through the PO Box in Antarctica on September 31st.